Hello, friends. Welcome to this live. I am excited that you're here, and I'm excited to be here with you today. And today is the topic of my live is on things that I invest in my business to get good results and the results that I want. And so I am going to share with you where I am investing currently and why. And in general, I plan to share with you a few of my thoughts on investment and how it is really important, and how getting to a point where you're comfortable with investment, or I don't think you can be like 100% comfortable all the time, but I know that you can get to a point where investment is something that you see as a really important part of your business journey. That is not going to happen. Your business is not going to move forward without you making an effort to invest and to investigate what to invest in, especially. And so I wanted to start by using a little side note. I am not going to talk about investment as in banking or other things. I'm talking about investing in your business. What does that actually mean? What reservations I might have about investment, and how I overcame my own self-imposed obstacles and self-imposed fears of investment, and what it gave me and what it continues giving me. I think this is a key thing here. So first of all, my name is Elena Motonono. If you don't know me, this is my channel, and here on this channel, I talk about smart online language teaching. I don't just give you ideas on where you can go and spend or make a little bit of money selling your language learning or teaching rather skills on a big platform for a fee, per hour fee. I'm here to talk more about turning the services that we have into a sustainable business, right? So there's a difference in that, because there are people that enjoy teaching online and see it as a side gig. They also have a really basic idea of running a business, and that would be um, generated, or rather that idea is built on our experience of working for a school or a language school or a university, where for the most part, in most parts of the world, you are paid based on the number of hours you're teaching, the number of students you're teaching, the number of hours you're teaching, whether or not you're filling classes and things like that. So most of the time when people go online and they want to teach languages online, this is how they envision a business, except they are the ones, quote unquote, in charge. They are the ones that are choosing the students, and they are the ones that are getting paid. And if you know of any big platforms, you will know that you can go there and you can set your profile there, and you can start teaching and make pretty good money. And have a feeling like you're having a business, but actually it's not your business. Most of the time when you go on a platform and you put your face on the platform, it's somebody else's business. You are using their platform, and which is great for experience, which is great as a first step, which is great as a side gig, really. You are using their platform to make a little bit of money, and you are paying them. So you're kind of like renting space from them. You're paying them for allowing you to be on this platform and get access to the audience that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. And some people actually like that. For some people, this is what they want to do. But that's not why I'm here on this channel, or my work is here for online language teachers who want to move away from a platform, who want to move away from one-to-one classes or even group classes because they recognize that exchanging time for money is unsustainable in the long run. You can do it for a short period of time, you can do it as a side gig, but if you want to do it consistently and if you want to make it into sort of your source of income, reliable, more or less source of income, you need to come up with an idea of how do I make it sustainable? How do I continue making money when I'm away from the computer is what sustainability is. How can I create passive income, which is something that I've talked about this month. How do I reach people that are out there and are willing to pay me and are willing to pay me not the average price, but the actual competitive amount, the amount that I want to charge, and all those things are important to me because I got to a point when, after a couple of years of doing one-to-ones, I felt like, well, that's great, but what's next? You know, tomorrow I get sick. And I am not paid, or I go on vacation and either I'm cheating on vacation, I'm not really vacationing, but I am trying to work and fit work into my vacation, or I, don't go on vacations. I work all the time. And those are the questions that you need to answer. And if when you're answering these questions, you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I would really like to make it sustainable. How is it possible? Then this is what I talk about. This is what I focus on. I've been working on it for a while and coaching teachers. I have the community, the Smart Teachers Library, and I have lots of books and courses around the subject, focusing specifically on the idea of building a sustainable business teaching a language, which means, in practical terms, it means to stop exchanging time for money. And it also means to be able to teach from one-to-one model, switch to one to infinity, where you can teach an infinite number of people and not worry about logistics, not worry about admin. Now, of course, when you think about it, the first thought that comes to mind is online courses, right? Because that's what we see on Facebook. That's what we see everywhere, even here on YouTube. It's all about create an online course. And a lot of teachers go into that and they don't do research. They don't do, because they're told, oh, you can do it without this, without that, and the other. Just create a course. And they spend months, if not years, creating a course. And usually, because they don't know much about course creation, they create something really humongous. And then they charge a lot of money. They go out there, they start a social media account on a social media they were never part of, and then they can't sell. And that's where the journey, the fun starts, where it's like, oh, okay, there's something that I'm not doing right. What is it? And that's where you start YouTubing and Googling and spending a lot of time, right, trying to answer your question. Sometimes it happens, so it happened to me, that you spend a lot of time looking for the answer to the wrong question, or to the question that you actually don't need to have an answer to, right? And so what I have learned through the process, first of all, myself, and then working with clients, is that for online language teachers, there is a journey that takes place. And the journey is starts with learning how to move, or stop this connection, or disrupt this connection between um, charging this much, spending this time, and charging this much per hour. So that is where it all starts. And I do, for that, I train teachers, language teachers, how to do that in a way that's not connected to exchanging time for money. And by the way, next week, actually, on October 1st, I open my speaking program for teachers that I do twice a year, and where I teach online language teachers how to teach differently without one-to-one. And what that means is all these teachers come in into a group, and I train them as their teacher. They become my students for 3 weeks, and I train them how to teach differently. And when they immerse themselves into a situation where they can be flexible, they don't have to be in front of the screen at a certain time, that changes the mindset, and that ultimately changes the way they work. And that is the first step towards building a sustainable business. But in order for this business to grow, we also want to invest in it. It's not like one time we figured out the model, now we're going to do it forever and ever. There are a lot of things to unpack. There are a lot of things to learn on this journey. That's what makes it so exciting and also so nerve-wracking, right? So today I'm going to share with you 3 things that I prioritize in my investment. How do I invest in my business? But first of all, 2 is this idea of investment. Why? Why do we invest? Why is it important for us to invest back into our business? Often teachers get into this situation of like, I want to make money and I want this money to go towards my travel and this and all and living my dreams. And that is all true. But in the beginning, when your business is just growing, what you really want is to prioritize investment, because the more you invest in your business in the beginning, the healthier it will be in the future, to where it will be able to sort of take care of you. It's kind of like if you have kids, that's what happens when you have children. They're little. You invest a lot of your time, you invest money, you invest resources to help your kids grow and develop as individuals. And all that you invest in the beginning, sometimes kind of sacrificing a lot of things that you would like to give to yourself, but you know that all of this is so that your children are going to get to a point in the future where they're independent, where they are they're well set in life, where they have good education, where they have good opportunities, and from that you can kind of reap the benefits, and they do too, of course. That's the most important thing. So I always likened your business to that of a child. So when your child is little, and if you're depriving your child of the things that the child needs in the beginning, there will be a lot more issues down the road that you are not aware of, because history only goes in one direction, right? You can't just kind of say, oh, this is going to be this way, so let me change it right now. We cannot control that. And so that's why we give a lot in the beginning to our children. And that's why when we deprive our children, we see situations where, you say, oh, not now, not today, or this is not good, or I don't have this or that and the other. And, in situations where parents are not responsible, or not adults, not acting as adults, mature adults, then their children grow up lacking, and they grow up not thriving. And so that's what happens with business when too early, in early stages of your business development, you start kind of depriving it of all the nutrients it needs to thrive. And most of the time, you view that as a huge burden, as something that you are sort of depriving yourself of. So let's say you created a course, or you created your first program finally, and you enrolled so many people, and you have a tiny surplus, right? After you paid everything. And once you have the surplus, you are asking yourself, so what am I going to do with the surplus? And there's a huge temptation to go and blow it, or buy something, a new vacation, a new this, a new that, and new cars. And when you do all that, then it's like, well, I can go and make more money. And next time when I make it, then I will invest. And next time comes in, and there is another emergency, and you're in this fix-it mode. And so what happens is your business as it grows and it doesn't get the nutrients it needs in the beginning, as you get older, as you get to a point where it's like, okay, it's 10 years down the road, where what is happening here? Why am I not getting the results that I want? Well, it all goes back to the idea of sort of deprivation. When you're depriving, you're not investing. You may not, and I'm not even just talking about the money. It may be about the time. So, for example, you hit a snag in your business at a certain point, which is going to happen. And then you're like, I don't know. I will probably need to find a side gig to support my business further. And then you find a side gig, and it's so much easier to do something, maybe translation on the side. And then the translation on the side becomes your main source of income, and then your business is kind of like, oh, I'm not motivated to do it, and so forth, and it kind of is dormant for a couple of years. And then you go back and you're like, why is it not working? It's been so many years. But you have not invested your time, you have not invested yourself, you have not worked on yourself in order to, maybe set boundaries at a certain point where you decide to take that extra income and say, okay, well, yes, I am taking an extra income, which means my journey is going to be slower, but I'm still going to show up for my business. I'm still going to maybe continue creating content. I'm still going to connect with my audience and sell. I'm still going to do this. So investment is necessary. And if we do not see that, and especially in the beginning, it's so difficult to figure out, okay, where do I invest? There's so many things. Well, that is a part of the journey, even making a choice of what is going to be good for you. And then once you do make a choice with investment, let's say you are investing in this course, or you're investing in coaching, or you're investing in this community, then you show up. Now, it does not necessarily mean you show up 100% to everything. You show up means you take a realistic stock of where your time goes and make a decision. Every day I'm going to spend this much time working on my business and, working on this course. And maybe it's not every day. Maybe it's just like a couple of times a week, but you make a decision, make a commitment that whatever you learn in this course, you immediately go and use it and evaluate, and then come back, evaluate, come back. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go through the entire course. And it doesn't mean you have to punish yourself when you take a course and you don't go through the whole course. Maybe what you took from that course is enough. So these are just all the ideas around investment that I hear a lot of teachers have struggle with investments, just letting go of the finances, looking at that as a burden, as opposed to looking at it as, I am taking care of this business right now because it's still a child, so that one day it will take care of me. Okay. I wish somebody had told me that years ago. I would have spent so much less time on YouTube, on Google. I would have stopped lying to myself that I'm learning something by going on YouTube and watching videos that are supposedly going to tell me how to find my niche, right? And I would have gone ahead and invested in what is really important and what I can see making a huge difference in my business right now. So 3 things that I'm investing. Number 1 is I'm investing in tools, or particularly skills that are needed for my current task. So you might be at a point where it's like, my current task right now, I have so many students and I would like to make that much money, but work less. How do I do this? And so that is your task. Do not go and look for how to do email marketing. Do not go and look for things that are not relevant. Free up the time so that you can go and learn about email marketing. Do not put email marketing on top of what you have already that is right now not working and is very pressing. So for me currently, for example, my goal is to reach more people. And so for that, I need a new skill set. I've done kind of a lot of things that you do in the beginning when your resources are limited. And now I am getting to a point where I am doing a lot of advertising. And so for that, I need a new skill set and I need a new budget and I need a new vision of how I'm going to reach more people. And so again, this is super important. I'm investing in the tools that will help me get to that point. Now, does that mean I have no more issues in my business? Well, there are lots of issues, but they're not as pressing. This matters to me right now the most. The second thing I'm investing in is coaching. This is absolutely 100% the most important thing that can get you the results that you want. And coaching can be different. You can get coaching for a very specific goal. There was a coaching one time I worked with for a couple of years with someone who helped me set up systems in my business so that now I have a team and everybody knows what to do and I don't keep like writing emails back and forth, and it's an efficient system and I am not afraid of bringing more people into my business and bringing or selling to more customers because I know that I have the system and I have the structure of my business that is going to handle these people. Okay. Because when you are working on improving your sales and increasing your sales, when you're at that point when you have something to sell and that is selling and you're increasing it, but you do not have the support system, the system that allows for this growth to happen, then what's going to happen is your quality will suffer. Okay, so coaching is important for me at this point. It's all about mindset. And I work a lot on my mindset and how I think about problems. And it's very crucial for me with mindset shifts to look at situations from a different perspective than my automated response is going to be. So, for example, let's say there are lots of automated responses that we don't even ever look at. For example, you might say that, oh, old people are selfish online, and therefore you don't ever collaborate with people. Well, the result that you're creating with that thought pattern is that you're actually preventing your own business from thriving because of this belief. And all you need to do is just to take this belief and ask yourself, was it really true? And this is what a coach does. A coach helps you see your problem from the sides that you will never look at. Okay. So that's why coaching is important for me because there's so many blind spots that I have that I might be like going out there marketing. But if I have somehow been riding this marketing wave on a disempowering thought, on a thought of I need to convince people to buy from me, then I'm not going to sell. Okay. And all these things can be unearthed only if you are willing to open up and to work with someone who is capable to show you these blind spots. And it takes two things. It takes, a coach who knows what they're doing, but it also takes you who is willing and open to change. There's so many times when people come into a coaching situation and they tell me, for example, that, well, here's what I need to do. They would tell me one, two, and three. And I just need you to tell me how to do it. And for the most part, that my answer to this would be a no. I'm not going to work with a person who already knows what they're doing. Okay, because it actually defeats the purpose of a coach. Because a person who comes to a coach and says, I know what to do, now you bless me, that doesn't work. That's not the relationship. Or the person says, I am going to tell you what you are going to help me do, what you're going to help me achieve. And that doesn't end well either. So for coaching, you want to be open, you want to be honest, you want to be willing to hear something that will be uncomfortable to hear. And you want to train yourself to be resilient to that feedback. And you want to understand that, okay, this feedback is actually good for me. It's going to make me a better coach. It's going to make me a better business owner. It's going to make me a better teacher. And if you think about it, from sports is where we hear a lot on coaching. Even your best, highest, stars of in the athletic world, they all have coaches because they understand that if they want to be better, if they want to get to a level that is higher than where they were, they need to be open to improvement and to growth. And the third thing that I invest in is therapy. Now, therapy is something that I started doing just for myself, for my personal health and the responses that I have, in my relationship with kids and the family, friends, and stuff like that. But it grew to be like the cornerstone for everything. To be able to understand, recognize your feelings, to be able to see how you deal with your feelings. Because often in business, we think that, as long as things go well in business, right? As long as I have successes, I am going to feel great. But the problem is we are not going to have successes all the time. In fact, in order to get to success, you need to go through a lot of failures. And how do we feel when we fail? Let's start there. Let's ask ourselves and be really honest with ourselves. How do we feel when we fail? Most likely, we don't feel really good, right? Most likely, we feel like crap. And so we need to learn to manage our thoughts and emotions in the time of the storm. We need to learn to sit with that discomfort. We need to accept it and embrace it. And we need to also know and have the tools to overcome and go through these feelings and difficult emotions. To think, when I look back in the beginning, and nobody had told me about this, but how much my life and my well-being in business depended on my results, on how attached I was to results. And it didn't matter how much I learned or read about this is how you detach yourself from results. I still instinctively derived so much pleasure and rewarding feelings when something worked. And most of the time, especially in the beginning, very few things actually work. And this is where you need to be resilient. You need to recognize your feelings. You need to notice whenever you are reacting or acting out of anxiety or acting out of, I don't know, overwhelm or shame. And you need to learn to cultivate in you this ability to live through the feelings and to make choices how you think about the results that you have in the business and how you move forward. Not waiting for some magic inspiration or motivation that will come from above and then you will work, but actually learning to generate that motivation inside you. Well, I think this was all I wanted to share with you today. I really appreciate your time watching this, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you have something that you thought about while listening to me or something that came up, I am really curious to hear that. If you drop in the comments, if you have anything specific that you want me to talk about in my future lives, I would love to hear that as well. Thank you so much, and until next time.